Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a great weekend. It is December, and we got our little get together this Thursday for those in the Tampa Bay area. Hope you've all RSVP'd. For our friends in Jersey, we'll be thinking of you, and we'll get a group photo and share you guys a little toast up there. And so it's almost going to be Jersey-like weather. It's going to be in the 60s, so that's good.
Oh.
We're tired of 80s. Karen, anything you wanted to share this morning or bring up?
Let's see. Saturday, we have anyone that wants to kill it with listing to leads. Sean is going to do a kick butt training at the office on Saturday. Just bring your computer and your listing to leads, and if you don't have it, get with Sean.
Sean, is that something
time?
Is that something we could do for the folks in Jersey to see at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, they can, because anybody can use listings to leads. It doesn't matter what state you're in. So yeah, I think definitely watch it. I mean, if we stream it, I mean,
Well, then, hey, Sean, may I make a suggestion? Maybe let's set up a Zoom for you and the Jersey folks. That way they can get on there and you can, rather than getting too technical on Saturday morning.
Yeah, we can do that.
Cool.
What time Saturday?
9 a.m.
Got it.
Wonderful. Good. And I also, if anybody who's interested to do a contract 101 class at the office too, we have so many new people. I really think that's valuable to do. I know there's a lot to learn, but this way nothing's missed in case I can't be there, Karen's not available, and you got a property that you can't wait to get an offer in on. So we'll schedule that as well.
That's me. Thanks, Mr. John, for that.
Oh, no, I didn't want to throw you under the bus, Mary.
I'm so frustrated. Oh my God. I'm having a hard time how to use my video. I'm like, what? Like, I can't see myself.
Well,
Yeah, your camera's probably just not connected.
it's okay, Mary.
To the
Look, step one, you got a customer. You showed a property. We're going to write up an offer and get a contract. So congratulations. So, anyways, we didn't have a specific topic this morning, but we wanted to make sure we mentioned that this Thursday and this Saturday we've got some events in person. And hey, Deb, how's it going up in Jersey? What's going on up in your neck of the woods?
So I had a good day Friday. I had my 2 closings, so I'm happy.
Congratulations.
It's pretty quiet up here. John, I think he's coming on. He's not here yet, but he said he was going to be on this morning, but he has some big news, so I'll let him tell his big news.
Cool.
But yeah, it's just the season. It's kind of quiet. I've started baking cookies. That's my big news.
Yeah. Well, so did we. Debbie, what do you make? What kind of cookies?
Yesterday I started the 7-layer Italian cookies, the ones that are pink and yellow and green with the chocolate. They're almond cookies. I make those. I make the magic bars, the ones you put down graham cracker crumbs and sweetened condensed milk and chocolate chips and then coconut, and you bake them. Oh my God, they're so good. And, a whole bunch of them.
We should maybe we'll do a virtual cookie swap next Monday. Everybody bring some cookies so the thing. Well, you know what? The reason I bring up asking how your business is up there is, as we talk to realtors across the area, we're all experiencing, for the most part, similar situations when it comes to transactions and showings. So I think that's encouraging in a way, because it's not me, it's not us, it's not the area. The economy right now it's everywhere. Yeah. Interest rates have improved. I know that I spoke with Sean last week, and I think they're below 7 right now, and the FHA and VA are in the mid 6s. So that's all encouraging news. And we need, and why is that important? Because buyers are asking us, hey, what's happening? We need to know those things. And Sean, while I brought you up, why don't you share what the latest is?
So rates are hanging in there pretty good. I mean, we're, depending on your borrower's profile, and a conventional, your low 7s, even maybe high 6s. FHA and VA definitely in the mid 6s. So we're seeing rates really, I've said this in my videos that 3 weeks ago we saw the tip. All right, we're kind of rounding it down as far, and it's gonna take a while to get us, low sixes, but every time economic news is coming out now, the market's not swinging wildly like it was before. So we've kind of leveled off, and I think that's going to continue. Inflation now, the last report showed it's definitely on the decline. And yeah, I think going forward, we're looking at 2024, probably looking at second quarter of 2024, the Fed will probably lower rates a little bit. And so will that affect mortgage rates? Maybe. It's a market driven thing. Rates change every single day. So for all of you that don't understand, today's rates not good tomorrow. Tomorrow's rates not good the next day. Okay, they change just like the market does every single day, and they're very sensitive to economic reports. And the good news is that the economic reports are starting. We want to see a slowdown in the economy. Okay, that's what rates want. They want unemployment to go up, which is not great, but that's what rates want. They want GDP to slow down, the economy to everything to slow down. And that's what it looks like is happening. So I think we're headed, 2024 is going to be a lot better as far as volume and rates. That's pretty guaranteed.
Well, I think so too, Sean. So thanks for sharing that good news. Debbie, are you finding inventory increasing in Jersey as well?
Not really.
Interesting. Because I mean, guys, I'm seeing it here. Would you agree with it? Seeing more inventory here in Pinellas and Tampa Bay?
Yeah, but I think it's because things aren't selling or people are relisting after it's expired, or they're resetting the days on the market. And honestly, I think this is the time. I think what we should focus on today is, what are we going to do between now and January 1? Because I don't, historically speaking, December is always slow. No one's going to list their house in New Jersey on December 5th, right, Debbie? For the most part.
Right.
I mean, everyone's
Yeah,
going to wait.
'cause
Everyone's going to wait.
I have 2 potential listings, and I know they're waiting till afterwards, but I am going to use those cookies to get those listings. I'm going to pull the Ed like he did with his soup. And use
Yeah,
those cookies.
there you go.
So maybe we can focus on, okay, Mr. Seller, you want to list, like for Debbie, they want to list in a couple months, or, or January, whatever. Let's figure out how we can secure the listing papers now, but not start actively marketing it until they're ready. We do have off-market websites where you can host their property. I have to look into it. I don't know if you can keep it on there that long. Michelle, did you ever look into that exclusive offers website?
Zenlist?
The off market.
Yeah, I'm actually doing it. I don't think it didn't say anything about a time limit.
Okay, so we have a relationship. EXP just announced in December or November, something like that. We have a website for off-market properties. It's through Zenlist. You have like 5 of them for free. If you go over that, then obviously they want to start charging you a monthly amount. But hey, Mr. Seller, I have the opportunity to market your property for the month of December in an exclusive off-market website that reaches hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, so that could be a potential way to just secure the listing now, try and, market it. And we can do this. It is legal.
Yeah. Karen, may I ask though?
Is it legal in New Jersey?
Well, I don't, I can't answer that. I'd have to ask, because what it is, it's an exclusive website through Zenlist. So I'm pretty sure, I mean, there's properties all over the country in there.
But don't you guys think that if it's off market, to get the most for a property, it's got to be on MLS?
Well, I know, but our goal is to secure the listing paperwork now, so that in
Agreed.
January
I
15th,
understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can I chime in here?
Please.
Yeah.
We just listed my house, Karen, and what we were looking at was there's no competition right now.
No.
So that's very persuasive, because when I looked at that and realized there is nobody in my neighborhood or in my zip code in my price range right now, that gives me a jump of 3 weeks before I know that after the first of the year, more people are going to start putting their houses on the market.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think that's a persuasive argument if you wanted to, influence somebody to list now.
Go ahead, Ed.
Don't miss my closing workshop on the 20th. Okay, that's all I can say. Because the definition of what you have to do is change the way they feel. What better time of the year to sell a home than in December? People sell houses, buyers buy homes. It's all decorated, it's got the warm feeling in it, as opposed to waiting till January when it's all sterile. Which way should you go? Alternate choice goes, which way should you go? Should you go with the warm environment or the sterile environment? Take a shot at it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I think you make a good point. And Deb, I think depending on the inventory in that area of the property you're listing, it might be a good time to list in December. In Michelle's case, she had very little competition. And so therefore it really sticks out as, wow, this is the one home that many buyers might be looking for. So I do look, I agree with Karen and Ed here. The idea is to secure the listing. Let's get the documentation done. So if and when they're ready to list, whether it be today or, December 27th or January 3rd, the paperwork is done. So, well, good.
Maria had something she wanted to
Go
say.
ahead, Maria.
I was going to say, it is important too if it's vacant or if it's occupied, especially for the pictures, because you don't want, Christmas pictures in March, which tends to be the problem when you list a house right now in December. I do think that you should list it though, like as a Christmas gift, as a buy for Christmas, as a, anything that you can. I'm bringing one into the market probably on Wednesday, and it's vacant and it's a little bungalow in St. Pete. So it will be perfect for the snowbirds even, which is the great advantage that we have on selling condos right now too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially if you don't have any competition. I think you should do it. And just ask the sellers maybe not to put the Christmas tree, in the middle of everything, taking a space. But, even on that, I think that is good to list it, in December.
I agree. I think the sooner we get a listing, the sooner it gets on the market, the sooner we get a buyer. So,
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments? Miss Rose, what do you think?
Sorry, I had to take the dog out. Yeah, I don't have anything going on right now. Making cookies and doing crafts actually. But meeting with some of my clients and just kind of keeping in touch and otherwise everything's so quiet.
Yeah. Okay. So regarding the question about listing the property in December, if you had a listing, what's your take on putting it on the market as soon as possible or waiting?
Yes, I would. It depends. I would list it. If it was a family that was all decorated for Christmas and had gifts out, then I would wait. But otherwise, especially if it was vacant and, there weren't people who were always going to be their family, yeah, I would list it.
Okay, thanks. Colleen, what do you think?
I was wondering I say list it. Can't the photographer edit out the Christmas tree later? Or come back to take another picture after the holidays if it's still on?
Yeah. I guess we could always be selective on what we place on MLS.
Could you always pay like the $200 and have it and reshoot the picture?
Sure.
Put it up on Christmas time. First, I think the most important thing is get the listing.
Right.
We're talking about, don't have the tree, but listen, I don't know how much your guys charge, but my lady charges $200. For $200, I'll reshoot the pictures again if I have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. The key is to get the listing to secure it. People are looking. People are looking. They may not be pulling the triggers yet, but they will be. So the more listings we can get, the better. So Sean, we're looking forward to that class and then setting something up with the Jersey group to help them as well. So Good. Rachel and
My
Jim?
sellers are concerned, just one quick thing, my sellers, the two sellers that I have potential of listing their homes, their concern is where am I gonna go? Like the inventory is still so low. That's another reason that's holding them back, because they don't see anywhere they want to move to.
Yeah. I don't, you know what, Deb, I think it's an interesting problem. See, to me down here, I think, we could always work those details out in a contract with a post occupancy or a lease back or something like that. I always would encourage a seller, like, look, I think the biggest obstacle you have right now is selling your place, or rather than finding a place. At least that's what I'm seeing. Maybe in your neck of the woods, it's a little bit different. If they need to sell to buy, then the sooner they sell, the better, I think. Because now they get the money in the bank, they do a lease back, they do a post occupancy, whatever it might be. And in our state, people want to get in by the end of the month for homestead exemptions for next year. It's another advantage for closing in December. Rachel and Jim, I wanted to get your opinion on the topic as well. Please go ahead, Rachel.
I think anytime listing is secure listing is all good, especially during the holidays. But I think the most important part before you prepare a listing, you really have to navigate the market, the current market, price it right, so it doesn't have to sit on the market. I think with Christmas tree, that's nice and warm. If you get the right buyer, that's great. Getting the buyer going into closing Christmas or December, holidays, New Year's, always going to be a special day. But I think, I really don't mind having to see that Christmas tree, because buyer's going to find out when you list the property, how long it's on the market. They search everything out. Is on the right price, the right time for each of the buyer. Just go for it.
Right. Thanks, Rachel. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, for us personally, right now, I mean, we've got a commercial listing coming up. It's just for a lease. Yep, it's in Tampa. We're closing a deal that's coming up right now, and we just concentrate on helping our downline, getting in contract and pitching it. So we don't stop. We're just gonna keep going. You know what? It's everybody else is to relax and making cookies and all that stuff. I'm sure that's the time for those people to kind of kick back and enjoy themselves. But for us, we just going full speed ahead, because if less people are working, more room for us to run at it. Yeah. So that's where we are right now.
Yeah, Eric, if you can just unmute if you like. How's the new construction sales going, and are you seeing any difference at your model center? Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, we've been pretty busy the last few weeks. A lot of people are seeing the media rates going down. We have a lot of inventory, like I had discussed. We continue to add inventory. We're starting 7 or 8 inventory homes right now, and we have 20 or so other ones at different stages. So yeah, it's going good. We've done, it was the end of our year was November 30th, so there was a lot of extra incentives. Some of those have rolled over, so we just still have some of those. And the incentives now are a lot of closing costs. We're doing in my community up to $25,000 in closing costs, which most people don't even need that much. But so that helps with the buy downs. And we are also doing like discounted lot premiums, real nice, waterfront pond home sites are basically zero premium right now. So yeah, things are pretty steady.
Good. Well, and look at all this encouraging positive news is good for everybody. So Karen and I are going to get together and along with Jim and whoever else would like to take a ride with us to come and see you within the next week or so. Okay. So thanks, Eric, for the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. We'll probably bring 3 or 4 of our new members to go see it.
Yep. It's wonderful. Good.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Kristen, would you like to unmute and share what's going on in Jersey and your thoughts on listing in December?
Sure. I can tell you about New York too. So, right now I'll tell you that New York is moving business as usual. There's still not a lot of inventory. And as far as New Jersey, I haven't been in Jersey so much lately, but I do see a little bit more inventory and like a higher price point. The lower price points don't really exist anymore. I have a couple of people who are waiting until next year, to list, and there's really not a lot I could do to change their minds. The last thing about December, I think it's a good time to list a house anytime, personally. I think there's always serious buyers out there. And I think I agree with whoever said that, there is less inventory out there, which, if you have a good house, you're going to get more, more people to come and bid on your house. So I agree with that. As far as the pictures go, I really don't think it's a big deal. Like I would tell them to do a little like sparsely decorated, and then, just swap out like anything with a Christmas tree, or I would just swap those pictures out, plain and simple. But hopefully if you price it right, it's not even going to be on the market that long.
I agree. Look, if it's a sought out area with the right criteria, the right size, the right amenities, the right price, it really doesn't matter if there's a tree in it or not, right? I agree with you, Kristen. Well, congrats. That's great. Glad to hear you're doing well up there.
Wanted to ask, Kristen, you cover Brooklyn, right?
I don't want to cover Brooklyn. No.
Oh.
Yes. I mean, I do have the Brooklyn MLS, and kind of begrudgingly, because I really do not like to go there.
Okay.
I will not. I just hate to say, I will not take out buyers in Brooklyn because it's just ridiculous. The whole show is ridiculous, and everything. All the commissions are lopsided up here, and I don't know. It's not worth it to take. I usually just take listings in New York for the most part, unless they're friends of mine.
Got it.
But yeah, I mean, I do have the Brooklyn MLS. I mean, if it's a couple of $1 million, I mean, I'm not gonna turn it down. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
It
okay, I will keep that in mind. Someone was asking me about Brooklyn.
Yeah, how far in? It depends on how far in, because like there's a whole thing with bridges and traffic. Like I really don't want to deal with it, but like if it's really worth it, I'll take a listing, but no point. All right.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Good.
Let's see.
Go ahead, Michael Toro, unmute.
So I have a newbie question because I'm a newbie. My newbie question is, I was working with a buyer. He got qualified at a certain price at certain rate when the rates were super high. So now that the rates have come down, and we knew that, with working with Sean, he knew that he could afford an X amount of dollar house. So now that the rates come down, how does that work? Can he qualify for more house, or how does that work?
I gotta go back to Sean.
Go ahead, Sean.
We need to requalify him.
Yeah. So we don't pre-approve people on sales price necessarily, okay? Because sales price is a function of the approval, because it's all about loan amount. So if we have approved them at set loan amount with set amount down, if rates come down, then yes, he can qualify for more, or she can qualify for more. You got to keep in mind also, for every $10,000, okay, every $10,000, you're looking at a reduction in payment of between $50 to $70 a month. Okay, so you're not talking about significant amount of change. The rates can go down a quarter point, and it's not going to affect much. Okay, it may change a little bit if you're right at the top of the debt ratio spectrum. But for the most part, when rates come down a half a point, which they have, okay, since 3 weeks ago, that's really true. Then you can really start recalculating as to, can we afford more, or can we, how much more can we afford on a loan amount?
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But
you know what, Michael?
you should always run them back through me. when you hear rates coming down, it's a good idea to recalculate the debt ratios. But I'll tell you, whoever I'm talking to when they're pre-approved, I'll say you're at the top. We're at the top of the debt ratio range. So don't go over this amount of money for a sales price. And when rates come down, then maybe you can tick that up a little bit, but it's not going to be significant.
But if they stick to the same and they don't want to buy more house for the amount that you probably pre-qualified them at the higher rate, now it's good for them because now their mortgage rate, the mortgage payment will be less.
Payment
Right?
will go down, right? Payment will go down.
Mortgage payment, right?
It definitely helps. That's why I like to pre-approve people at worst case scenario for the most part. I always make the homeowner's insurance higher, maybe the property taxes higher, because it's easier to go down. You can't go up. It's always easier to go down in ratio.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that.
Good question, Mike.
I'll be
Good
talking
question.
to you about Anthony. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, John.
Good. Anybody have any other comments on that? Anybody? Mr. Duran, Mike, when we met at that open house in Tampa a few weeks ago, were you able to follow up with those people that we met that day, and any luck communicating with them?
Yeah, I got callbacks from some of them, but a lot of them are doing it's December. Let me wait because of the holidays and stuff. So yeah, and I think they're positive leads because most of them were renters trying to get out of renting.
Good. Well, look,
that was a big plus.
Like I'm sure everybody stay here. We'll share with you. Stay in contact with them. Okay, just every week, send them a note, send them something to a hello. What can I do for you, etc. And again, that was a good start. I thought that was a great connection you made that day. So well done. So, Karen, anything you'd like to add?
It's never too early. It's never too early to get them with the lender, even if they're 3 months out.
Yep.
So that might be, maybe there's a hook there that, you can.
Yeah. And you know what? A lot of times the buyers have no idea what they can afford. Many times they think they can afford more than they can afford. And that's why we really need to get them qualified to make sure they know. And, and what kind of loan? FHA, VA, if they're a veteran, the rates are much better than they have been in a long time. And there's some great opportunities there for them. So
yeah, and also the that down payment assistance is for it's not for people that are struggling, right, Sean? It's just for people that are
yeah. Well, take a watch. I'm gonna send a video out this week. I think Wednesday I'm gonna do it. Where it's gonna show that I closed the deal 2 weeks ago. The borrower got $400 back at closing. Okay, so basically they came to closing with zero. And it was a down payment assistance program. Whenever you hear down payment assistance program, it does not mean that for somebody who doesn't make any money. And if you do not have this in your arsenal, you're missing out.
Yes.
So we have FHA, it's called like FHA 100% programs, but all it is the down payment assistance tacked onto an FHA loan. But there's no income limitations, right? I mean, you can make $300,000 a year and you can still qualify for what's quote unquote down payment assistance. Down payment assistance only means in every case, except for grants. Okay, now grants, that's income restricted. Okay, you're not going to do grants for the most part. Down payment assistance just means a second mortgage with the purchase. That second mortgage does not have to be paid on a monthly basis. It's a silent second. It sits on your house as a second mortgage. Every Hometown Heroes is the same thing. It's all the same. You never get free money given to you. Okay. It's always a second mortgage that's attached to your home. Now there's different cases where one, you may have to make payments on. Two, there's some that you don't have to make payments on. The one that I just closed that the guy came to closing with zero has a 5-year forgiveness. So if he lives in the house and keeps the FHA first mortgage for 5 years, the money is forgiven. They never have to pay it back. So when you hear down payment assistance, don't say, oh, here we go. As somebody that they can't afford to, they don't have any money. That is absolutely not true. It is just like a regular loan. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but it's a great product. And especially first-time home buyer, and some of them you don't even have to be first-time home buyer. So there's a lot of different options for it.
Wow.
Sean, what would the qualification of a buyer be to be qualified for the down payment assistance?
Generally, okay, what you want is 640 middle credit score, okay? We can go all the way down to 600 in some cases, but 640, you know, that's FHA world, right? So 640 credit score, we can do it all day. Debt ratio has to, it's not something you're going to calculate, debt ratio, but we know once I see pay stubs and everything, I know if it's going to work, you know. So they have a little bit of a restriction on debt ratio. Rate is where it'll be different. If you do the down payment assistance FHA 100, your first rate will be higher. Okay, the FHA will be about a quarter to maybe a half a point higher than a regular FHA, depending on their scenario. But they don't have to put any money. You know, they don't have to put nearly the amount of money into it. So I always run it as an option. You know, if somebody that's limiting and they're not putting 20% down, obviously, or 10, even 10% down, we run it as an option and say, look, you can come to closing, because the down payment assistance portion is usually 3.5%. Okay. So if you have somebody, the only way to know if somebody qualifies is for them to get with me, for me to pull their credit. Okay. And I always do a soft credit pull now first. Doesn't affect their score. They don't get blown up by trigger leads on the phone. And that's one of the main reasons, because once I pull somebody's credit, they get blown up by 50 lenders, you know. So if I pull it on a soft pull basis, they won't get called. Plus, I can see where their scores are at now in order to, when they're ready, you know, once they need a real pre-approval, we got to do the hard pull then. That's when we got to do it. But they're, you know, don't be qualifying people. If they say they're interested, just let me talk to them and pull their credit as a soft pull. And I'll tell you, they're ready now. They're going to need to do this for 6 months and they'll be ready. But the down payment assistance programs are great programs to help people get into a home.
But Sean, isn't it, don't you have to be a certain career? Like, can I get it?
Anybody can get it. So,
and that's like zero money down.
Well, it could be if you can get the seller to pay for closing costs for some of the closing. Like in this case, this guy didn't come to closing with anything. That's because the seller was paying some of their, you know, a lot of their closing costs.
Seller concessions, yeah.
Yeah, and this time of year, you can do that, right? And if you're an FHA 100 type of program, then they can pay up to 6% of the sales price. But the Hometown Heroes program, which is what everybody probably hears, now they're open to any occupation, as long as the employer is based in Florida, as long as they have an office in Florida. Hometown Heroes is open to everybody. And they're going to reload for 2024. Okay, they ran out of money because when they opened it up to everybody wanted to do it, right? So going into 2024, they'll reload for more money to be available. Hometown Heroes is more restrictive in credit score. Use 640 no matter what. Okay, can't go 639. So Hometown Heroes is just one of the programs we look at when it comes to the down payment assistance.
Yeah. You know what this reminds me of, Sean, is let's stay in our lane. Okay, let's stay in our lane and introduce the buyers to you, people. Right? Yeah. And then let you explain all the different options. Because look, there's so many different programs for different buyers out there. We just need to make the introduction to you. Let you take it from there. And
and may I suggest a script? You know, Mr. Buyer, if I could get you into a home and out of your rental for the same monthly payment that you're paying now with zero money down, would you be open to a conversation? It's as simple as that.
Right.
Because if they're going to rent anything, okay, they're going to put first month's most likely security deposit last month. If you can do that, and all of our rents $2,000 or more in our area, right? So you're talking about $2,000, $4,000, almost $6,000 to get into a rental. If you can do that, then why not use that $6,000 to buy a home or to buy a townhome? And these are open for townhomes too. They're not really, condos are tougher, but townhomes, single family homes, you can get in with 6,000 to, I mean, I don't know where it can make sense to rent in that case, but it's something that is not. Now, when rates get better, okay, we go into 2024, this option of the seller paying closing costs, will not be available, right? Once we get more competition out there, there's no way you're going to get sellers to pay closing costs. That's why I'm telling people now, this is the best time to buy before things change. And more competition means you're not going to get seller concessions much.
Right. No, thank you, Sean.
May I share I've been talking about this townhome in Tampa that I've been trying to sell for 5 months. We accepted an FHA financing loan with 7,000 in closing costs, but they're putting 10% down, which I thought was interesting. So they're coming to the table with 50 grand, which I thought was really interesting. So it just goes to show you, if I didn't open it up to FHA, my townhome would still be sitting there. So.
Yeah, but Karen, wasn't the listing price was over the FHA limit though, right? That's why they had to put 10% down? No?
No, what's the FHA limit?
So,
7?
and also remember this, FHA limit is loan limit. So you can buy $1 million house with an FHA loan as long as you keep, it's going to be right around 500,000 in 2024. It's at 498 is the loan limit in 2020. Right now it's 472.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they had to put the 50 grand
That's why,
down.
yeah. So that's why when
you got to get it to a certain loan amount. And the reason somebody would do that is because one, credit score may be too low, So if their credit score is too low to qualify for conventional, you do FHA, even though you're going to have to pay mortgage insurance, PMI. But sometimes FHA is the best option because of credit score or high debt ratio. So again, FHA doesn't mean first time home buyer. It doesn't mean somebody who can't qualify. None of that is true. Sometimes FHA with their rates are better. That's just the way. I mean, I'm doing the one that Maria put under that Mary put under contract. That person has a very good credit score, right? But it's better. FHA is better because the rates are better. You want to do what's better for the client, not what's better for your pocket. As as a loan officer, what's going to make me more money is irrelevant. What's better for the buyer, and sometimes FHA is just better rates. That's just the way it is.
Got it.
Listen, I have a question about leases. I got a person that was interested in buying, but they just got into an apartment lease. Is there any laws in Florida that you can, that a renter can use to get out of their lease to be able to purchase a home?
You got to look at the lease because
just whatever's in the lease.
Yeah, a lot of the leases have 2-month buyouts. Especially if it's like an apartment complex. Usually they have a 2-month buyout. So basically you got to pay 2 months of rent to buy yourself out of the lease. But you got to look.
Can that be wrapped into a mortgage if they don't have that to do that, or no?
No.
Okay. Sure.
Well, but there's ways to do it, Michael, by asking for seller concessions, for example.
Yeah.
So
I
think the key to that is see when they can get out of that lease. That's key.
Yeah, and you're going to have to, as real estate agents, become more familiar with seller concessions, because with this new lawsuit, okay, and if things continue on that path, then buyer's agents will not, the commissions will not be, but won't be from the seller, right? The buyers are going to have to pay your commission. You're going to have to get used to asking sellers to pay seller concessions, because that's really the only way to roll any closing costs into a purchase, right, is seller concessions.
Yeah,
but that could be a closing cost for if we can ask the seller to do that as concession, they can pay for those 2 months on that lease for that person to be able to get out of it. Yes, or
well, it'll reduce cash to close, right? That's what it'll do. It'll reduce cash to close. So in that case, yes, really, they're giving them the money. That's the only way to get money back. That's why the guy that got money back, that was his escrow deposit, right? But the seller was paying all of his closing costs, so he was able to get some money back. And you can roll it as long as it can appraise. That's the key, because the property has to appraise for you to raise the sales price to put in closing costs.
John, let me ask you a question, because I've got several buyers that are coming to the market, which I very rarely work with buyers. Are you saying that when I write a contract up, I've got to get the seller to make a concession to pay my commission?
You don't have to. I
Well,
mean,
then how am I going to get paid?
It
No,
depends on
it
what
depends. I'm
what
talking
the-
about the future, you know, that with this
Oh,
lawsuit,
okay.
that's the way
All right. All
it's
right. All
looking like it's gonna go. Yes.
Okay.
Karen and I are talking about holding a class on that coming up. So,
So
for
may-
now, that's not the way it is, Ed.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know, this is mainly for Florida, sorry, New Jersey, New York people, but your broker, I would talk to your broker about this, but in Florida, I was just attended a meeting, a branch manager meeting, you know, with the office, and you know, what we're going to have to do in the future when you're sitting down at a listing appointment, you know, Mr. Seller, I charge this percent. This is what I charge personally. Do you want to pay a buyer's agent's commission? And if so, how much do you want that to be? That is going to be your conversations in the future with regarding this lawsuit. So I would suggest, you know, attending one of the brokers. All the brokers are having meetings about it. I know in Florida, ours is sometime in December. I'll try and get that out to you, but I think you guys should attend it because it was a very, very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Karen. Mr. Moise, why don't you share some interesting news? I have a little bird said you have something to share. Go ahead.
I do. So we, my buddy and I, the one that has all that commercial property, we've been talking about getting out of your comfort zone nonstop, and he ended up finally doing it yesterday, and we listed the largest listing I've ever listed so far, $7 million, both sides of a commercial highway, which
That's
I've never
amazing.
done before. It's pretty exciting and whatnot. So it's also too, it's like one of those I don't know the word that I would really use just yet for it, but it's like a staple in this town. So it's one of those like it's like a property that's never been listed before. It's been in his family for 3 generations. Yeah, so it's like, you know, it's a staple in this town. So it's pretty exciting. So that's what I'm going to be focusing a lot of energy on now.
What's the property? Is
John.
it industrial or land or what is it?
So it's industrial. It's made up of 22 rentals in total. It's industrial in this one part of town, which he's the only one that has the industrial use there. And then it's also the townhouses. It's also a laundromat. And it's also like a seafood store. So it's like kind of a little bit of everything, you know, so, but it's exciting. It's definitely, you know.
Hey,
Yeah,
definitely share that with us so we can blast it out over social, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can certainly help with that.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Jim, I would think you have a lot of connections up there for that.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where this does not come up all that often. I also too, I didn't sign it's not like something where we're doing it for a very long time. It's pretty much more so if we can get it out there and someone does see it now, at least I have everything in place. So this way, you know, it can all get paid. I mean, the commission on it is ridiculous. We didn't change any of that stuff. And as of right now, also too, just so you guys know, we actually still have a $20,000 buyer's agent bonus on the townhouse development. So we got that going as well.
Well,
Great.
let's try and, let's definitely, Michelle, can you get with John and try and share that with us?
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about it, John, because it sounds like is it being sold as a portfolio or as one unit or?
No, it's basically, yeah, it's being sold as basically like a portfolio. Because he's willing to transfer all of the leases, everything is gonna go over there. So that's really, I think, the only way that we would be able to sell it and market it. But
I'd love to talk to you
yeah.
about it, John.
Wonderful.
See if I can help you.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. If you want, after the meeting, we can catch up.
Congrats, John. Well
So
done.
John, is he willing to do seller financing?
No, not really. He really wants to be able to take, I mean, maybe possibly like part of it. But he needs to basically walk away with a chunk of money because he actually wants to go to Sanibel is where he wants to actually take, all his money and start redeveloping everything down there.
Okay.
Interesting.
Cool. I have we have an agent in Sanibel that works with a developer or a builder from Argentina. So that's a conversation we have down the road too.
Okay. Works.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well done, John. Congrats.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Good for you. Any last comments, guys, before we get our work week going here? Anything? Any questions, comments, any problems that we can help you with? No.
Are we going to do the traditional screen capture, smile?
Absolutely.
Wait, Maria, did you want to say something?
Yes, because I've been holding it for the past 2 weeks, and I wanted to ask you, John, directly, if there was ever a class on this new buyer's law for the people that are from China, from Russia, it's like 5 different countries, Iran, Venezuela, that I was not aware of. Because what happened, and the way that we find out, just so everybody knows, right? I put somebody in contract. I never, ever asked before my buyers, where were they from? That was not especially because we are warned not to do any kind of discrimination, right? So I never ask. I assume the lender does their part, the lender gets the documents. This girl was from China. She was in a visa, a student visa that allowed her to work. So she had 20% down. Everything was great. We put her in contract. A week before closing, she is the one that actually find out about this law against China, right?
Right.
So not only the contract goes south on my part because she cannot buy, because she's from China and she cannot be close to any kind of military base or whatever it is. But not only that, the seller goes and fires the listing agent because he didn't do his due diligence.
I'll tell you what, Maria, I just messaged myself to look into that, to get that right information. That's really important, especially for us in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will work on that today for us. Okay.
You want to talk about that at the next mastermind?
Sure. We can do that. I'll get the information and we'll share that next Monday. Okay.
Does it only apply to Florida?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, I know that our Florida contract has that information in there. So I'm not sure if Jersey does or not.
It was
Florida is the strictest one. But there it's open up for the whole nation, but it's up to local authorities to do it. And I think Florida is the first one that adopted that.
Yeah.
My biggest concern is the fines behind the jail time that a realtor can have. Like, you can go to jail for a year if you sell it to somebody and you didn't even know that this was happening. So to me, this should be like all over the place. It was something that I wasn't aware of. And now I think that is important, even for the buyer's consultation, for us to be asking, where are you from?
Okay, but it was all over EXP. You guys have to start.
Was it?
Yeah,
that's the part that,
I tell you this
on front page.
You have to start focusing on paying attention to your broker and workplace and following your broker and workplace, because things were announced there. It was all over.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
See, I didn't see it. That's what I'm like, this is way too important for us. The same thing that we're going through with, with the commissions and everything. I think this is important for us to know.
You're right.
And John and I are I think what we should do moving forward, John, just because everyone's busy out there and they don't focus on things, which we do, I'm going to follow the trainings that they're going to be doing all in December. And then I think we bring that to the table with our group locally. Just to reinforce.
Maria, I'm glad you brought it up. Karen makes a good point. We're all busy, but EXP does a really good job of sharing this information, and most of us just don't pay attention to it. And shame on us for not doing that. Okay, so
there's 10 emails a day. Sometimes
I know.
and one of these things until you actually don't run into this, what is happening, like you have. So I think that we should like start interviewing the buyers, and saying, where are you from? Do you know about this? Because there's like 5 countries in there.
Got it. Okay, I will look into that, and we'll talk about it next Monday. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jim, you're up.
All right, everybody.
Hey, Moise, get your camera on. Where are you? Oh, he's gone. He's busy.
Gone. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Perfect.
All right,
Got
guys.
it.
Hey, everybody have a good weekend. I hope for the local folks, see you on Thursday and Saturday. And Jersey folks, take care up there. All right. And Karen, thanks for all you do for the group. Have a good day,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.